Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So today was Fed Day, and it's behind us. Another obstacle that the market had to deal with. And today we came in with a pretty decent setup because if you recall, about a week or so ago we were very overbought, worked off that condition, had a nice controlled pullback overseas around the world in our markets, and then held pretty steady the last few sessions. And within those last few sessions, the market was pretty frisky underneath the surface. You had lots of stocks breaking out. You had a lot of some nice movement. And unfortunately, if you follow the wrong people, around the universe of Twitter sphere, everyone was pretty much calling for a top. So today, Miss Janet Yellen came out and pretty much didn't throw any curveballs, which she could have, but she didn't. You had a little bit of time in order to figure out what's next, a few little wishy-washy moves, and then all of a sudden the spiders took off and strong stocks got stronger. And there's a lot of stocks that had like a day one, not even like day three, day four that are overbought. Some things that are a little extended needed a rest, but let's just get right to it. Let's go first things first to the SPX. You go right here to the spiders or the S&P, and here is where we broke out from. Remember that? This was your straight line up to that overbought area, which was very overbought. Came in, and what do we do? Put a pivot low in at 1927. And remember I said, I'm like, as long as we hold 1925, you can't get too bearish. P.S. After a few inside days and lots of nice movement, Fed spoke, nothing out of the blue, boom, closing the highs of the day above the prior pivot. So unless they really just want to screw up everybody and reverse it tomorrow, which you can't really trade that way, nice day. Someone like, is this day 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or is this a day 1? I think this is more like a day 2 because you combine these 3 days, it really just took back this down day. And if we want it to continue, we should. You can't just blindly, not take things because you say that sometimes the trend reverses after Fed Day. Today's action was pretty healthy across the board. You look at the Qs. We've talked so many times about this. I know that at times things look a little bearish, and this looked a little bearish right here. You had your potential of a head and shoulders top pattern, but what happened? The right shoulder got negated, everybody. You follow us, we talk about it, things change right here. You could have been bearish. On this day, you could have been bullish and got rid of your short and stopped rolling it up and trying to, make excuses for being wrong for a day or two. Because then look what happened since. Boom. And then even with this little pullback, you didn't know what was going to happen. We broke this upper area, broke the 8-day, okay? So take some risk off. Why not? Look at that. Maybe that one day would have led to more days. Maybe. Maybe we could have went to the 21-day. What happened the day after? Oh, we held. What happened the day after? Oh, green day. And then today, nice little day. Engulfed this little range. Technology still acting well. Right near the highs of this move. What is that? 93.05 would be something where, if you're rolling up shorts, you have to make adjustments again. And then even the Russell. The Russell is where the action's been the last 3 days. Talked about here again, lots of time. You guys had time to switch your stance. Traders probably switched their stance, but commentators and media guys and people who just sell whatever they sell probably didn't because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. But right here is when it changed. You had a descending trend line here, broke above, held, broke out, held higher, went again. Right here it didn't look like that was the case. This looked pretty bearish, and you could have been bearish here. Like everyone else was bearish. Why not? It looked pretty damn bearish. Below the 200-day at support, we could have fallen apart. What happened? Oh, big breakout. If you missed this part of the move, big deal. If you would have switched gears, you could have refigured yourself or resituated and caught that. Okay, and within that was a lot of nice money, okay, if you stayed the course. So now we go to some stocks. We'll see what's cooking, okay. Today they tried to sell Amazon, and they basically couldn't. They tried, and you look at this overall chart, and to me now, I don't know what the analysts are going to say about the phone tomorrow or whatever, but it broke above this trend line now with a day 1 potential, same spot that Goldman upgraded the stock. So maybe it continues. So here is the area that it couldn't get through the first time, but last time it came from here, and now it held higher, so maybe it continues. Keep that on the radar while I'm gone. Google also been very lethargic. In in the chat room in the VTF, a lot of people were all over it thinking maybe it plays catch up. This was your last breaking in the descending channel. Here's when it broke above resistance. Here's the pullback. Came in a little bit further than you would have liked, but today, I don't even know, I don't remember if I have it on my morning note, but we talked about if it gets above this high here. I don't own it, but Sperling has it. A lot of other people have it. It could be good for a catch-up trade. And what was this? A day one, not extended. Could continue. Can get right back up to 570 if it wants to. So if you're in this overnight, probably looks good. Apple, still a little wishy-washy. Haven't really been that active. I tried a little bit this morning and I got out of the way. As far as this macro intermediate, oh, look at that little funny line there. Still holding in. Oh, another one. Let me let me get off of this. Hold on. Let's go to my E. I like to draw the lines. You know, you're still holding intermediate support, but we are below accelerated trend lines. So until it really breaks above this and closes above it, you don't have to be that active in Apple. Okay. At this point, you still also have somewhat of a wedge type pattern here. And we'll figure out what's next. Okay, I still think at some point it breaks this high before the end of the year. I just don't know when. At this point, it's done a pretty decent job absorbing the move since earnings that we've traded with nice little inflection points like this one and like this one. And then in social media land, finally Facebook woke up. Okay, I know it's been quiet. We had a really nice a few trades here. You know, there was definitely a few trades. This was one of them. Okay, right here, when it broke above this 60 and change. Here was another one when it finally broke above this 64.50 and came back in, and now this really could just be a day one. Okay, it's been tight, it's been out of play. If you overtraded it, you're probably upset. If you were in it and not really watching it too close and saying, I'll give it to this trend line, never broke below it. And now it ignited above this 3-day pivot, and it looks like it can continue. Twitter, still grinding up, filled the gap now. I think we started talking about it pretty constructively right around here, or actually somewhere in here even when it broke above this. But anyway, still looks good. I think you could stay with it. Yelp, nice trade. Sperl diggity dog. Look at him. Okay, first of all, if you remember, I posted this chart, okay, which was first of all, you had the the red joke reversal right here where hopefully you covered your shorts. I have that chart somewhere in the Twitter sphere which you could look at. You could have at least covered your shorts there thinking maybe it changes, and then changed a little bit right here, and that's when everyone kind of yelled at me for being lucky or whatever. I don't even know what the hell they were yelling about. But right there is when it changed. You know, came above this resistance, and then in this little flag type pattern, we pointed out how it was getting accumulated, right? Nice little accumulation bottom pattern. Some call this a cup and handle, some call it whatever they want. Unfortunately, then when open got taken out, I was not in it for that trade. Sperling had options. Some guys were involved still. People in the Twitter sphere were happy. Me, you know, unfortunately, I didn't have it. Then you had a day of digestion, another day of digestion, and then today it broke above this minor area. So I don't care if people have sell ratings or they don't like it, but if they say get shorted or avoid it, at least, you know, if you're an influencer, come out and give a plan. The day that it gapped up and did a gap ago, if I would have recommended it short before that day, which you didn't know was going to come, I would have come up with some kind of strategy on how to salvage it. Or I would have said, you know what, short more, whatever the case may be, depending on the strategy. But to say nothing, and then today it broke above another key adjustment area. If you go back to the chart, which is right here, you know, this would have been the stop out. If you didn't get stopped out on this day, here's your stop out, and now who knows what's next. But nice bull flag, gap stayed in check, and there you go. So bad calls happen, but get people out of bad calls if you did that. Hopefully, guys are still long this, and I know Sperling's been leading the way there. This away I talked about today, I'm still long it. Didn't have quite the move that I thought it would today, but still hanging in there. Okay, still looks pretty good. Holding up, nice little bull flag. Maybe the next day or so it gets above this 32.77 and tests the 200-day, which is a lot higher. I remember when I was talking about SSYS, same type of thing. It took time. I was in it in here, and it wasn't going as fast as everyone would have wanted before it finally extended. And this was just a catch-up play and wound up being pretty good. Look at that when it broke the downtrend. And then really the play was, in my opinion, when it crossed above this resistance, and now it's above the 200-day, and who knows what's next, but it was a nice catch-up trade. Same thing with Triple D. I got out of that yesterday, and this still looks like another nice inside day. This probably can continue. You had a little volume day, a little stretch. Doesn't look like a heck of a lot, right, from where it came from, but if you're not trapped in this noisy mess, there's something to do there. And now it looks as if it can continue. So we'll see what happens. We'll see as this goes sideways if it can get above 54, 58 in the next session or so. Look for this to try and tag the 200-day. And then that's when, if it reclaims that, it can get a little frisky. We've talked about the solar stocks today. Solar City opened down, went positive. Monster. In the morning call or just at my desk, I'm like 62, 60 or 60 has to hold. And the reason being is this, right? We talk about from prior days. So the reason why I said 62 or 60 should hold is because of this. You go back to the daily chart. Here was 60, which it didn't even test. And then here was where it broke out from, right around 62. So if you wanted to buy a dip, nice dip to buy, and then it went green and gave another trade. So lots of stuff to do here besides just bash a solar stock because you think the valuation is high. This is when we listed it this week, talked about it many times, crossing 55, and you never know where it's going to go. But if you do the right trade, it really doesn't matter. I sold it a little early yesterday, but I don't care as long as people made money. That's why I'm the offensive coordinator, chief strategic officer at times versus just a trader. I do both. And this was a nice spot where if it got above, it could have went, and boy, did this go. SPWR was even downgraded today. And this chart is in the Twitter sphere on our page and said this is best in breed. Not because I know what kind of panels it has or even what country it's specific on, but because it was the closest thing to 52-week highs. It was holding higher above all the moving averages. Looked like a breakout could happen. And does this look like a breakout to you? So sometimes make it easy. Put a ruler across and say if it breaks above and closes above 35 or 36, I'm long it. And if you went long it and took options, you did well. FSLR also. This one you draw a ruler this way. Maybe not straight across. This one you draw diagonal. Boom. Still looks good. I'm not even getting to the other solar names. Today Tesla took the day off. I'd still watch it. Nice inside day. This gave you really two nice days. One day, second day, still above this. Another session or so, and I think that you'll be buying this above 335-ish. What else? Yahoo, different type of trade. A little reversal here above the 200-day. Maybe that's a sign that it can go higher. The casinos all reversed. They've been getting bad news after bad news. Day one here, I know it's early, but if you like the casinos, and I know some guys like the casinos, this could have been entry number one, and if it breaks this line, that's entry number two. MGM, same type of scenario. Lots of people downgrading this group, and it couldn't go down. Reverse today cleared this. So if you wanted to be long MGM and you sold it into some strength, not a bad spot right here. Potentially that can go. I know my girls, congratulations. Goldman continued higher. I think you guys focused on Morgan. Nice little buy the dip into the prior flag breakout. And if you bought that today, close strong. Maybe this with a little follow through can get back to highs. JP Morgan, what'd you do today? Playing a little catch up. Maybe tomorrow, take a look at this and above 58 could continue. And to make a long story short, or to make a short story long, or to do something like that, it's Wednesday. It's been a long week. Just want to let everyone know tomorrow I will be on a 3:10 flight. I'm going to Austin, Texas. Family function, a little bit of just a getaway. I haven't had one in a while. My last two getaways were pretty far away from where I live here, but we're working getaways. This one's more of a vacation. So I'm not going to be on the VTF as far as talking and on the radio, and I'm also probably not going to be tweeting that much. I do have positions, which if you look at the bottom of the disclosure, you'll see what I'm long. I will be trading remotely from a laptop here and there, very limited, to manage some positions based on the market action. But I will not be doing a morning call with Brittany or writing my Redler All Access note until next Thursday. So you got a week. Just tune into the VTF, tune into Sperling, tune into Rob, tune into Mike, there's a gazillion people that will lead you, in the right way. But hopefully you've learned enough where you don't need to be led, you just need to sustain your own process. The VTF is awesome. We have so many people talking about great ideas and following through and looking at setups versus just trying to find tops and trying to create headlines to get page views for whatever it is they do for their business. That's not what we do here. We trade. We try and make money. We try and make a living. We try and look at things with a glass half full. Try and be realistic. Try and have values. Every weekend I post the 10 secrets of success, which really aren't secrets. What are they? They're things that your grandpa probably taught you, or your dad taught you, or you teach your son. Just ways to live life in an accountable fashion that you're proud of. And that's what we try and do. So hopefully you've had a nice little run the last week and a half. The market's been pretty calculated, lots of nice setups. Moving forward, hopefully there's no bull trap tomorrow, which sometimes happens after Fed Day, but you can't live your life looking for a bull trap. We closed strong, lots of participation. Fed is now behind us. We'll see what happens. There's still some headlines and some fluidity in Iraq and in some of the other hotbeds around the Mideast, but I think overall, the markets are taking it in stride. I will check in from time to time, and I wish everyone the best. Hopefully, again, you're making moves in the right direction, you're trying to limit the noise, and you're looking at the action of the overall market and the stocks, because that's really what's going to lead you in the right direction, not language. Have a great night.